Alright, buckle up, because today's episode is going to get controversial. I'm diving into a debate I keep having at car meets, online, and with my own friends. Why are people conditioned to hate EVs? Not too long ago, the hate was all on hybrids. Remember the Prius jokes? Now, hybrids are just meh, and EVs are the new punching bag. Why? Because they dare to steal the spotlight. And in car culture, whenever something new shows up, the goalposts move. First it was horsepower, then it was sound, then it became about weight, now it's about soul. So today, let's have the uncomfortable conversation. Why can't petrol heads and EV enthusiasts just coexist? And don't worry, I'm not saying ICE cars are dead. I'll probably end up buying a Corvette E-Ray myself because I still want something that screams and shakes my chest. Yeah, fight me. But this video is about opening up the floor, poking at the myths, and saying the quiet part out loud. Before we even dive in, I want to hear from you. Do you think the hate for EVs is real passion or just internet conditioning? Drop it in the comments. Oh, and for anyone new to the car scene, ICE just means internal combustion engine. Basically, all the classics you know. Inline 4s, inline 6s, V6s, V8s, V10s, V12s, the list goes on. I've noticed this at meets. You show up in an EV and suddenly everyone becomes an automotive philosopher. Someone will yell, "It's heavy," or "It's soulless," or the classic, "It's just a golf cart." Here's the thing, this hate is conditioning. The internet, the media, even some car influencers condition people to see EVs as the enemy of car culture instead of just another lane on the same highway. And let's be honest, car enthusiasts have always done this. In the muscle car days, if it didn't have a V8, it didn't count. When turbos became a thing, people said they were cheating. When hybrids showed up, people mocked them. And now it's EV's turn. Question for you. What's the worst or funniest anti-EV comment you've ever heard in real life? I'll pin the best one in the next video. And it's not just online. Here's a real story. I'll give you a real world example. I went to check out the new Dodge Charger EV. I'm standing there, minding my business, and some random guy walking by yells, "My car makes noise. That makes it better than yours." Like he thought he won a debate. So I looked at him and said, "Cool, man. I'm happy with what I drive. The gas version isn't for me. You have your lane, I have mine. Let's coexist." The guy looked at me like I was crazy, like I had just insulted his whole family tree. But that's exactly my point. Why do we feel so threatened by the idea of different kinds of cars coexisting? I don't bash someone for loving a V12 Ferrari. That's your flavor. Let me enjoy mine. Quick poll in the comments. Would you clap back like I did, or just let it slide and walk away? And since that argument always boils down to buzzwords like soul, weight, or efficiency, let's actually break it down. Because neither side is perfect, it depends on what you value. On one hand, you've got EVs with 1 or 2 motors. On the other, you've got traditional ICE cars with V-style engines. V6, V8, V10, even V12 monsters. Neither is automatically better. It depends what you care about. So let's break it down. EVs, instant torque from a standstill, no waiting for RPMs. A dual motor EV with all-wheel drive will smoke most ICE cars off the line. Tesla Plaid is proof. Rimac, Navara, proof. ICE cars, you've got to rev them up into the power band to get peak torque. But when they get there, the noise, the drama, it's unmatched. Handling and traction. A dual motor EV basically is an all-wheel drive system with precise torque split to each wheel. Compare that to ICE cars with shafts, diffs, and transfer cases. It's old school mechanical versus new school software. So, would you rather have instant torque every single time, or that build up to redline drama from a screaming V10? For EVs, a single motor is plenty for daily driving. Dual motor unlocks supercar level acceleration. Add a tri-motor like Tesla's Plaid or Lucid Air Sapphire. Now you're in the hypercar territory. ICE cars have performance scales with cylinders. V6 bounces power and efficiency. V8s and up deliver brutal force and emotion. Think Mustang GT, Ferrari, V12, Lamborghini, V10, they're raw theater. Which would you rather brag about at Cars and Coffee? 1,000 horsepower EV stealth launching on everyone, or a V12 that screams so loud people hear you coming from 3 blocks away? EVs have a higher sticker price up front, but often offset by incentives, and running costs are way lower. Electricity is cheaper than gas, and maintenance is almost nothing. No oil, no spark plugs, no exhaust, while ICE cars are usually cheaper up front, but you pay for it at the pump. V8s and up guzzle fuel. Maintenance stacks up too. Oil changes, belts, exhaust repairs. Be real with me. Would you rather save thousands in gas and maintenance, or do you see that cost as part of the ICE experience? EVs have zero tailpipe emissions. Sure, making batteries creates emissions, but studies show an EV's lifetime footprint is still way lower. While ICE cars burn fuel, release CO2, smog, and particulates. Is the reality. Does the environment factor into your car buying decision? Or do you not care as long as you love what you're driving? For refueling, gas cars still take the crown here. 5 minutes at the pump and you're back on the road. Electric vehicles can't quite match that yet, though the networks are expanding fast, and companies like BYD are closing the gap. 249 miles of range in about 5 minutes. That's basically gas station speed, just with a charging cable instead of a fuel nozzle, and that leads right into range. This is where gas cars still dominate. Fill a tank and you can go hundreds of miles without thinking twice. EVs, their range varies a lot, and cold weather can knock it down hard. But here's the thing, we already have EVs hitting 500 miles on a single charge. That rivals plenty of petrol cars, and the tech's only getting better every year. Of course, range isn't the only real-world factor. There's towing. EVs absolutely crush it on torque, so they can pull heavy loads with ease. Problem? Hook up a trailer and your range evaporates. For short hauls, electric vehicles are beasts. For cross-country towing, gas trucks still run the show. And then there's the one category that isn't just about numbers, it's about feel, noise. Electric vehicles can be whisper quiet, smooth, almost zen-like. Some even give you wild sci-fi inspired sounds that feel like you're piloting a spaceship. And you have some really interesting EVs that imitate gas cars, even with manual gear shifts. It's wild out here. The future is getting crazier. But ICE cars, they deliver that growl, that rumble, that raw drama that people fall in love with. It's theater every time you hit the throttle. So, yeah, when you line it all up, it really is a trade-off between what you value. EVs give you efficiency, instant power, and future tech. ICE cars give you range, heritage, and noise. Neither one has to kill the other, they can coexist. It just comes down to what kind of driver you are. Final question for this section. If you had to choose right now, are you team instant torque or team engine noise? Drop it below. And I'll be real, this is personal for me. I've always been fascinated by electrical systems, especially batteries. I geek out on this stuff. I'll spend hours researching which batteries to buy for my tech, going down rabbit holes about how lithium cells are built, what their energy density is, how many charging cycles they can take before degrading. Most people would find that painfully boring, and that's fine. But me, I've always been wired that way. So when I finally drove my first EV, something clicked. Literally and figuratively. The power delivery was instant. The torque didn't build up like in a turbo car, it just hit you the second you tapped the pedal. The silence felt alien at first, almost eerie, but then it became addictive. And the tech, it absolutely blew my mind. I love the pull, the surge, the way it pins you back in your seat, and not in an uncontrolled muscle car kind of way, but with this sense of surgical precision. Especially the new sounds some of these EVs are making. Yeah, they're not V8 roars, but they're futuristic, almost sci-fi, and I find that just as exciting in a different way. Cars like the Dodge Charger, Daytona electric vehicles with its fretsonic chambered exhaust are literally engineering fake but fun noise. Like car companies are saying, yeah, we know you miss sound, so here's a new kind of music. Then there's the handling. A lot of modern EVs use dynamic suspension systems that constantly adapt to the road. The Porsche Taycan is a great example. It uses Porsche's active suspension management and adaptive dampers to keep the car planted in ways that ICE cars just can't replicate. The Taycan feels like a spaceship locked to the asphalt, no matter the conditions. And then you have cars with individual motors for each wheel. The Rimac Nevra takes this to the extreme. It uses 4 independent motors, 1 at each wheel, with torque vectoring so advanced it can literally pull you into a corner rather than push you wide. It feels more like a track weapon with a brain than a road car. Even Rivian is doing this with the R1T and R1S trucks. You can literally tank turn the thing because each wheel can spin in opposite directions. Show me a gas truck that can do that. Tesla's Model S Plaid setup is another wild one. Tri-motor, all-wheel torque distribution, sub 2 seconds 0 to 60 times. That's Bugatti-level acceleration in a 4-door family car. Imagine telling a petrol head in 2005 that one day a sedan would smoke a Veyron off the line. They'd laugh in your face. For me, this was the turning point. Driving an EV didn't erase my love for ICE cars. It just opened up a new lane of passion. I still want a project car. I'm saving for a BMW 2 Series or maybe an X3 to wrench on, mod and tune the old school way. And yeah, I'm still planning to grab a Corvette down the line, probably the E-Ray, because nothing replaces that visceral roar and muscle car swagger. But EVs gave me something different, a glimpse of the future, a car that's not just transport, but a living system. Constantly learning, constantly adapting, delivering insane power with zero hesitation. That's why, once I drove my first EV, I couldn't go back. Let me throw it to you guys. Which EV tech actually impresses you the most? Is it the Plaid's stupid fast speed, the Taycan's planted handling, or the Nevra's torque vectoring wizardry? Or do you still think none of this beats a proper ICE engine? Drop your answers in the comments. I want to see where the community stands. And here's the thing, cars always evolve. Think about car history for a second. We went from horse-drawn carriages to noisy combustion engines to turbos to hybrids to hydrogen experiments and now EVs. And every single step was controversial. People laughed at the first cars and called them horseless carriages. People mocked automatics when they showed up. Turbos were once seen as unreliable gimmicks. Hybrids, they were the butt of every car joke. Yet here we are. EVs are just the next evolution, not the end of car culture. And if you're a tech nerd like me, EVs are exciting because they're introducing things that were science fiction just a decade ago. We're talking about dynamic systems that learn your driving style, over-the-air updates, insane 0 to 60 times. It's like watching the smartphone revolution happen, but in cars. Take Neo's Skyride intelligent chassis system on the ET9. This tech proves EVs aren't just getting faster, they're getting smarter and safer. It can detect a tire blowout in under 0.3 seconds, instantly adjusting brakes, suspension, and steering to keep the car stable. They've tested it at over 90 miles per hour with full tire blowouts, and the car stayed completely composed. That's not evolution, that's revolution. Or look at BYD. They're pushing charging tech so far forward it's scary. The new 1 megawatt Super E platform can add around 250 miles of range in just 5 minutes. That's basically gas station speed. It uses a 1000 volt architecture, silicon carbide chips, and liquid-cooled flash charging to kill range anxiety. This isn't theoretical. It's rolling out in cars like the Hanel and Tang L SUVs. Then there's the wild side. Yangwang's U8 SUV. This thing can literally float for up to 30 minutes in a flood. Yeah, you heard that right. An emergency floating mode. It can wade through water, do tank turns, and it even has BYD's DSUS intelligent body control system. An active suspension setup that can make the car jump or drive on 3 wheels. It looks like a video game cheat code, but it's real. And don't forget Tesla's Cybertruck. Elon once tweeted it would be waterproof enough to work briefly as a boat. They haven't proven it yet in production, but with companies like BYD actually demonstrating it, the competition is on. This is why I say EVs are the next evolution. ICE cars gave us emotion, speed, and sound, but EVs are expanding what's possible. From cars that stabilize themselves during a blowout, to SUVs that can survive flash floods, to batteries that charge faster than you can order a Starbucks. This isn't just about horsepower anymore. It's about reimagining what a car even is. Now, you guys tell me, which do you think was the biggest leap forward in car history? Turbos, hybrids, or these kinds of EV safety systems like NIO's Skyride? Which one of these EV breakthroughs blows your mind the most? NIO's blowout-proof chassis, BYD's 5-minute charging, or Yangwang's floating SUV? Or are you still all about the old-school ICE car drama? And since tech is great in theory, let me give you another personal story. One time I rented an Audi e-tron GT. My friends, big ICE loyalists, the type who swear by V8s and think EVs are glorified golf carts, flat out refused to get in at first. They were like, nah, that's not a real car. But after some convincing, I got them behind the wheel. And here's the crazy part. Within minutes of driving it, the first thing out of their mouths was, this doesn't even feel like an EV. That right there tells you how much misinformation clouds people's minds. People love to talk trash about EVs without ever having driven one. But once you strip away the noise, literally, and just drive the thing, it's still a car. A fast, fun, tech-loaded car that handles beautifully. And here's what I always tell people. It doesn't cost you anything to go test drive these cars. Walk into a dealership, ask for the keys and just try it out. Worst case, you don't like it and you walk away. Best case, it changes your perspective. But you'll never know if you just parrot what you read in the comment sections. Audience question, be honest. Have you ever actually test driven an EV? If yes, did it surprise you? If not, what's stopping you? Fear you'll like it too much? What car would actually convince you to test drive an EV? Porsche Taycan, Rivian, or nah, you're never stepping inside one? Here are the big anti-EV talking points, and why they're either exaggerated or just plain wrong. EVs catch fire all the time, statistically false. Gas cars catch fire way more often. It just doesn't make headlines. When a Tesla catches fire, it's everywhere. But an ICE fire? Just another Tuesday. They're silent, so they're soulless. Wrong again. Electric vehicles make sounds, different sounds. Some are futuristic, some are engineered, some even mimic V8s. And the irony? ICE cars are pumping fake engine notes through speakers. Where's the outrage for that? They're too heavy. Are they heavy? Yes. But when did car culture suddenly become obsessed with weight? I don't see Hellcat owners complaining about curb weight when they're lining up at cars and coffee. And many ICE cars aren't even that much lighter than their EV counterparts. They're not reliable. ICE cars get endless recalls for fuel pumps, transmissions, airbags, you name it. But when EVs get a recall, suddenly it's proof they're broken tech. Let's keep it consistent. Comment below. Which EV myth annoys you the most? Or which one do you secretly still believe? Be honest. Here are some EV strengths. Let's be real. The first thing everyone notices with EVs is the instant torque. That neck snapping acceleration, like in the Tesla Plaid hitting sub 2 seconds to 60, it's insane. On top of that, they're cheaper to run. No gas, fewer moving parts, no oil changes. It's simple. They also help create cleaner cities, less pollution, better air for everyone. And then there's the tech. Electric vehicles get over-the-air updates, smart driver aids, adaptive systems that actually learn how you drive. Plus, charging speeds and even battery recycling are improving way faster than people give credit for. But on the flip side, nothing, and I mean nothing, replaces the sound and emotion of a combustion engine. A roaring V8 or a screaming Ferrari V12 does something to your soul, and electric vehicles just can't replicate. Add to that the joy of a manual transmission, and you've got an experience EVs don't offer. Gas cars also win when it comes to convenience. 5 minutes at the pump, and you're gone. The infrastructure's everywhere. And of course, there's the heritage and culture. Petrol cars come with history, legacy, and that romance you can't download with an update. Bottom line, both have their lanes. Both have their magic. One doesn't have to erase the other. So here's the big debate starter. If you could only own one, your dream petrol car or your dream EV, what are you picking and why? And don't get it twisted. Before the comments light me up, let me say this. I'm still buying a Corvette, and not just any Corvette, the E-Ray, because I still want something that makes noise, that has that muscle car swagger. The E-Ray gives me both. A hybrid system with EV torque, and that glorious V8 soundtrack. Best of both worlds. You can roast me all you want, I'll take the keys anyway. I know some of you are gonna roast me, so answer this. If you had the cash, would you pick the E-Ray or a Tesla Plaid? Fight me in the comments. Choice is what makes car culture fun. Want a Subaru vibe? Rivian. Toyota alternative? Tesla. Porsche feel? Taycan or Audi e-tron GT. Mercedes. Let's be honest, they messed up. Lucid is eating their lunch right now. We've gone from one EV option, Tesla, to a whole menu. Isn't that what car culture is supposed to be about? Choice? Drop a comment. Which brand do you think is making the best EVs right now? And which one has totally fumbled? At the end of the day, EVs and ICE cars should coexist. They don't need to outshine each other. Some people live for the sound of an engine. Others geek out over battery packs and motors. Some want both. And that's okay. The hate is mostly conditioning, misinformation, and stubbornness. But if you actually try these cars, most of those arguments fall apart. The world's changing, whether you like it or not. You don't have to give up ICE to appreciate EVs. So let's throw this to you guys. Why do you think the hate is so strong? Is it nostalgia? Is it fear that car culture is dying? Or are people just stubborn and loud on the internet? And the bigger question, can ICE and EVs truly coexist? Or will this culture war keep dragging on? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I already know this one's gonna get messy.